Thank you all for coming. My goodness, all these blessed, shining faces out there. It's just a dream. And shout out to my publisher, Mark and Beverly Olivan, for the beautiful cover and for everything they've done to get this off the ground and into print. Although she was born in Mississippi, in all her 18 years, Olivia Marie James had never been this close to an ebony tree. She placed her palm tentatively on the bark, rough to the touch, but a pattern of beauty, like a river flowing up the branches, its color gray in sunlight, in shadows, black as the back of her hand. "You blend right in," said the wiry white woman, embracing the trunk of the ebony tree like a long-lost lover. "Is that white talk, Aunt Winky?" Olivia teased. "This is the 21st century. Are you sure, girl? I promised to take you back in time." Olivia playfully swatted her godmama's arm, and they were off, chasing each other across the yard. Winky gave good effort for a septuagenarian, but Olivia caught up fast and play-paddled that skinny old bottom. "Ow, ow, I'll never say anything inappropriate again," Winky wailed. "Yeah, right," Olivia said, winking. A dragonfly buzzed between them. They followed its flight up the ebony branches to a little wooden house perched above a cloud of white blossoms. "That's y'all's playhouse?" Olivia said. It was more than a playhouse. It was our sanctuary. "Like church? Weird." Winky smiled. "Your Grandma Dorothy and I, we had our own thing. It's a long story." "Well, I want to hear it all, the good stuff, the bad stuff, now that you're back here in Tupelo." Winky kissed her goddaughter's sweaty cheeks. "Do you have any idea how beautiful you are, Olivia Marie James, inside and out? Those dark eyes on a black Madonna face. And so smart. I have no doubt you'll get that scholarship to Howard University." "I'd blush, but being black, I don't think it'd show." Ah. Oh. Winky stared at a mosquito on her bare arm, blew it off. I'm worried you won't like me if you know the whole truth." A redbird flew across the white ebony blossoms like a splash of blood on a cloud of cotton. "Oh," Olivia looked into Winky's gray-green eyes. "I promise I will love you, Aunt Winky, no matter what. You got to promise me the same." "I promise," Winky said. "I was 8 years old in 1955. Time moved slower then, especially for a little girl with no one to play with. That particular summer day, I was here in the backyard, getting cool in the shade of the ebony tree, sniffing the scent of late-blooming hyacinth that floated over from Mrs. Martha Beauregard Simpson's yard next to ours. As always, I was trying to get away from things going on inside my house. But just being in the backyard all by myself was no fun, when all of a sudden, I peered through the chain-link fence, separating our yard from Mrs. Martha's, and what do I see? A little black nose poking through the fence. It hardly seemed real, so I ran up and put my nose onto hers. Oh, your Grandma Dorothy's nose was cool and soft. To my lonesome soul, it was a magical thing. "I'm 8 3/4, she said. I could see her eyes so big and dark and close, with our noses touching. "I'm 8 9/10, I said, blinking my eyes and making a sound. "Hoot." She giggled. "Hoot." We were suddenly two little owls hooting and giggling to beat the band. A grown lady hollered, "What's so funny, ... "My real name's Dorothy Lynn," she whispered to me. "Mine's Grace Ellen," I said. "Everybody calls me Winky." "Well, my," said the grown lady, striding toward us. She was short and round and black, in a blue nurse shirt, fanning herself with a sheet of plain white paper. I was shocked. I'd never seen such creative use of plain paper before. Fine white ladies used lace fabric fans, and my mama, who was poor, used a paper fan. I'm Mrs. Judith Rose James, Dot's mama, doing home care for Mrs. Martha Beauregard Simpson. I'm Grace Ellen Mitchell, I said. Folks call me Winky. The back screen door of my house opened with a screech and a lazy bang. My mama was coming. I could hear her footsteps tilting to the right, stumbling to the left. Mid-morning, she was already into her gin. "This your mama coming?" Mrs. Judith Rose asked with a frown. I didn't answer. I could see Mrs. Judith Rose narrowing her eyes as she looked up at the ebony tree, its long green leaves shifting in the breeze. "Mrs. Martha finally got some help," Mama said in her gin voice. Slightly different from the whiskey one. I'd been living with it for so long, I could tell the difference. "Yes, ma'am," Mrs. Judith Rose said, introducing herself and her child. Dorothy leaned close to me. "Do y'all have a white folks bookmobile?" "Oh, yes," I said. "Y'all got a colored one?" "Oh, you bet. A big old trailer with so many books your eyes roll back in your head." And she showed me the eye roll. We giggled hard. Dot said, "I am reading Ashar, Queen of the Moors." "Well, you look like a queen," I said. "I'm reading Grundenwald, Viking Princess." "Oh, I'm coming to visit your castle," she said in a high voice like a queen. "I am honored," I said in a bad Norwegian accent. I looked up at Mrs. Judith Rose. "Oh, can you lift Dorothy Lynn over so we can play?" Mrs. Judith Rose looked at me with sadness. "I got a problem with that, Grace Ellen. This very ebony tree brought a mighty sorrow to my family. Back in the day, Mr. Arthur Thomas James, my husband's daddy, was a hired man for this house. He was busting up old ebony branches. His axe head broke from the handle and landed in the cheek of a little white girl, Miss Mary Catherine. Me and Dorothy gasped. Mrs. Judith Rose shook her head. Mr. Arthur Thomas James was the granddaddy you never knew, Dot. Dorothy's little voice quivered. "Mama, what happened to my granddaddy, Arthur?" Mrs. Judith Rose spoke low. "At 8 3/4, my heart tells me you're old enough to hear this. Mr. Arthur got hung by white folks that very day for a harm to a white girl was none of his fault. Your daddy, Len Edward, about 4 years old, was hiding in the bushes and saw his precious daddy, Arthur, get hung." Dorothy let out a shriek. I was cold all over. I couldn't make a sound. No, Dorothy cried, grabbing her mama's skirt. Oh, Miss Judith Rose, I am so sorry," my mama said, blubbering with her gin. "I am that very child, Miss Mary Catherine. I was 5 years old. Arthur Thomas James was my best friend. I loved him, and he loved me." I stared in horror as my mama stroked the scar on her cheek from the broken axe, like she was trying to rub it out. "I'm mortally sorry to the bottom of my soul," my mama said, wiping off tears that pooled in the scar. "Arthur was the only person I had to talk to. My daddy was working so hard to keep us out of the poorhouse, and my mama worked all the time cleaning house and making our clothes, and Arthur was my dear companion. I screamed and bawled when I heard what happened to him. I took blame on myself at that tender age. I thought if I hadn't been standing so close, talking his sweet ear off, the axe head would have just landed in the grass." Mrs. Judith Rose put a protective hand on her daughter's shoulder and guided her back into Mrs. Martha Beauregard Simpson's house. I watched them disappear with a desperate longing in my heart. Now we go 9 years ahead. This is a letter from Dorothy Lynn James, University of Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, November 12th, 1964, to Miss Grace Ellen of New York City. Winky, you crazy, wanton woman. Just teasing. When I read about your female orgasm, I pictured us back in our house in the Ebony Tree reading from your mama's Webster's Dictionary. Quote, orgasm, the highest point of sexual excitement. That was very unsatisfying. All Mama Judah said to me was, don't you dare think about a female orgasm until you are married before God. We asked your mama once when she was stone drunk, and she looked off, her eyes double clouded. Oh, yes, I heard of that in a French novel. We asked, what novel? And of course, she told us. Oh, yeah. They did not have Lady Chatterley's Lover by Mr. D.H. Lawrence at the Bookmobile. Either the Negro one or the black one. And we both got really fussed at for even requesting such a title in the great state of Mississippi. Thinking back on it, I don't know that your mama ever had an orgasm with your daddy, him so prejudiced and tight. But I don't think that's true of my Judith Rose and Lynn Edward. I used to see him in the kitchen, her washing dishes, and him taking them out of her hands, turning off the water, moving his hand over her rose print skirt to her ample bottom. I think Judith Rose had orgasms all the time. Otherwise, she wouldn't have cautioned me against them. But, Winky, I have something to report. After that, I had that epiphany, the one about the oneness of life in our bodies in Cadaver Lab. In class, I got up and screamed, we are the same under the skin. I woke up the next morning and looked at the black girls sleeping on the cots beside me, and I got so mad. I've never been so mad. I could hardly breathe. In a flash, I saw my whole life. The KKK tomato throwers who ruined our ballet recital, the picture in your mind of your great-great-granddaddy's plantation full of slaves. And here we were, black girls who finally got into medical school at Ole Miss, and they put us in a stuffy little room on cots. Well, I lost it. I woke up the other girls, and I told them we're going to go down to the dean's office, and we weren't leaving until they gave us proper rooms in the dorm with beds a human being could sleep on and a good shared bathroom. Everything the white girls got. We marched down to the office and demanded a meeting with the dean, a plump old white guy with turned-down lips that looked just like my cadaver. I stared at him, and I could literally see right through him. I knew what he looked like on the inside. Heart and lungs and bones and sinews, all that life in him, just like me and the other black girls. We are no different than the white girls in this institution, I said, with my mouth turned down to mirror his. We demand equal housing. He prattled on about the budget this and the president that. We didn't expect you Negro girls to come here. It was thrust upon us by the federal government. He wanted us to feel sorry for him. Oh, we didn't buy that for a second. We sat there in the office and said we would not leave until he had met our demands. Talk about anger. Ooh, he jumped out of his chair so fast I knew his blood pressure was going up. I should have had my cuff with me. Please, sir, I said, as a medical student, I am concerned that you may have a stroke. He was not impressed. He called the white campus police, and they grabbed us. And we screamed bloody murder and kicked them. And they held us tight and spit on us and said, dirty nigger bitches. And we ended up in jail. Next day, it was all over the local paper. I guess it didn't make it to the New York Times. I'm writing to you from the campus jailhouse. Remember when you got thrown in jail for protesting on Freedom Summer? Now, I'm a jailbird too. I've never been so proud in my life. I can't sleep. Not because the jail isn't conducive to rest and relaxation. The cots here are exactly like the ones we've been sleeping on. No, Winky, I can't sleep because I feel like I just stumbled into history. Like there was Gandhi and Dr. King and all the rest. And I'm this little person dangling at the end of a long string of injustice that is much larger than my own self. I know you can't totally understand this, but maybe when you're creating your dances up there in New York, from your own insides, like you said, maybe then you feel something too. It's you, but it's you creating in your bones and blood, no different than Alvin Ailey or Ms. Martha Graham. To take a stand, to create a dance, to act, puts you in this shimmering stream of existence. We are there together, my friend. Oh, Wink, just this moment, there are 100 fireflies in the window of this campus jail cell, resplendent as the ones around our house in the Ebony Tree. Love, Jailbird Dorothy. And finally, we reach the present again. Olivia woke as if from a dream this bright summer morning. She kissed the tiny sleeping siblings in her bed and tiptoed down the hallway. "Where are you off to?" her mama Primmy said as she waddled out of her bedroom, a wrinkled nightshirt covering her short, round body. "I have to sing Swan Song at a birthing," Olivia said over her shoulder as she hurried to the stairs. Primmy scurried after her. Olivia could feel her mama's breath on her cheek, those arms coiled around her neck, warm and unrelenting as a cotton-mouthed moccasin. "You be my baby," Primmy said. "All I ever see these days is your back flying out the door. You're not in college yet." "Yes, ma'am," Olivia said, pulling away. Primmy's face softened, her lips cracking from the residue of cheap lipstick put on the night before for some gone guy. "Don't you go sing for Dorothy Lynn," Primmy pouted, pulling her daughter back into the hug. Olivia felt it, the melding into her mama, as if none of them could tell the difference where one ended and the other began. "I love you, Mommy," Olivia said, realizing that she meant it. Damn, Mama is so crazy, and part of her lives in me. "You are my shining star," Primmy said, eyes moist. They might have stayed entwined forever, but Jimmy Pooh showed up, crawling over to his big half-sister. "I'll be home for supper," Olivia said, kissing Primmy's round black cheeks and flipping Jimmy Pooh high in the air. He barked with joy, and Olivia got the hell out of there. She pumped her bike over potholes in the alley, past row after row of the quarter's boxy apartments and tiny balconies. The thump, thump of hip-hop and the glowing voice of Beyoncé blared from the windows. She pumped harder out onto the dirt road, past Natchez Creek, cottonwoods bending, mosquitoes darting just above the surface of the water. Country gave way to rows of neatly groomed brick homes that Grandma Dee called the White Towers of Tupelo. Olivia squealed her bike into the driveway of a 3-story mansion, white columns recalling the glory of the Old South. She felt it as soon as she set the kickstand. The air was lighter, as if every peach-scented rose, every sun-yellow jonquil knew something was about to happen, to change the spark and whistle of ordinary life. for the folks in this white-columned house, and for generations to come. Something inside Olivia didn't like the glorious anticipation in the air. Yet something pulled on her, a curiosity that moved her forward into the unknown. She took out a worn sheet of paper with the swan song birth verses on the front and the death verses on the back. Olivia was welcomed at the gilded doorway by an African-American woman servant. "Hurry on in now, miss, hurry on." The entryway opened to the main parlor with pearl-white vaulted ceiling and scarlet satin window shades. Couches and love seats had been pushed against the window to make room for the birthing bed of a young woman, a white woman, trying to retain her Southern composure in hard labor. Grandma Dee sat on a stool, one hand on the woman's belly, the other on the entrance to the birth canal. Olivia's chest rose with pride. Her own Grandma Dorothy Lynn Matthews practicing her portal medicine, where coming into the world and going back out of it must be celebrated in song and the joining of hands. On this fine morning, family members, close friends, and the Morning Glory Swan Song Choir were assembled to welcome this child. "I need y'all to start humming," Grandma Dee said. A blend of harmonious hums issued forth, the air shimmering with sound. Olivia felt it through her whole self, lifting, throbbing, until her feet barely touched the hard hardwood floor. "This baby isn't wanting to come out," Dorothy said. Y'all have to invite him." "Baby's heartbeat," the panting mother said, reaching for her husband's hand. "Weak but steady," Dorothy said. "I'm going to have to cut you. Your baby's head is too big to make it through without. I'll deaden you first." "Just get him out," the mother said. Worry swept through the room. Olivia searched the sea of white faces, but Winky was not to be found. Dorothy hadn't invited her. Some terrible rift was going on between those two that put a great burden of mystery on Olivia's heart. "Breathe now," Dorothy said to the mother. "What you gonna name this child?" "We want to do something modern. No Beauregard or Cantaloupe." This brought rousing laughter. The worry melted as Grandma Dee sliced into the soft vaginal tissue. Blood dribbled down onto the white sheet, and in no time, a little white orb appeared at the enlarged opening. "Push now, sugar," Dorothy said. "Ride the breath." She glanced at the choir. "Y'all start singing. Verses, come on, he's coming." Olivia could not sing. She could hardly breathe. She watched in awe as the little white orb got bigger and the mama's flesh opening to let him through, guided by this sensual miracle of her very own grandmother's hands, famous throughout northern Mississippi, to be unlike any other doctor's hands, so knowledgeable, so strong, so loving. Dorothy widened her fingers and caught the tiny baby that slithered out. "Color's good," Dorothy said, sniffing the umbilical and rubbing the baby's back until he let out a howl. "Welcome to the world, Cantaloupe!" The end. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where is she with the microphone? There she is.
If anyone has a question, feel free to raise your hand.
Not a question, but a statement.
Oh.
The way you read is remarkable. I could feel it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
You seem to have a background in theater.
I was intrigued, Elizabeth, with the voices of the Black people. Now, I know you're from, is it Arkansas?
Well, I was born in Texas, but all my people are from Tupelo, and we went there every summer of my youth.
Right. But, I just like the Godmama and just the dialect. First of all, you're a master of writing dialogue.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, in characters. But had you heard this language from the people that were in your community and your world?
Well, it's sprinkled off and on through my life. There was a little black girl who came over the fence, but we were living in Austin at the time, and we weren't there long enough for us to establish a really long friendship. But it was just like I said, it was a miracle. This little girl came over. My mother bought her a black baby doll and all this. But there were people in my life, and I'm remembering now that when I went back to Dallas, after I'd lived in New York for a while, I went back to Dallas, to the Dallas Theater Center, and they had established a black theater company in the Dallas Theater Center. And I just remember getting to know them so well, and we were often on crews together or funny things together, or we'd be acting and stuff together, and there was like a 7-foot-tall, incredibly gay man who dressed in pants and, short, what do you call them? Hot silk hot pants, and then his big turbans, and his name was Benny, and he called me Bessie, because everybody called me Betsy back then, but he was Bessie, called me, and we had a good friend named Beverly, and he'd say, Bessie and Beverly, they're coming down the street, they're going to come see us, and blah, blah. And so it's like I just got those rhythms in my ear, and then when the characters write their own stuff, it's wherever it comes from, it's them, right?
I guess I felt it quite a bit toward the end of the book, when the resolution maybe hasn't happened. And, I was really moved with how painful that was for Dorothy.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Don't give away the end. Some people have read the book already.
Elizabeth, wondering where the fiction ends and the real life begins.
How long do you have? There are little strains of things from my own life all the way through it, and that come from very unpredictable and unexpected sources. I'll be in a character, and then suddenly the character will do something that I saw somebody do in high school, or, that goes back years and years, but that's somehow just right for that moment. And I'd say the emotional through line of the book and what I lived through growing up during the Civil Rights Act and all of that, I saw and witnessed so much of that, and it was so painful, and still is, may I say. I wish it had all been resolved, but here we are, all these years later. Yeah. So a lot of it's true, and the gutsier, more painful parts are the truer, more painful part. Yes, sir.
Elizabeth,
Yes, Larry.
what led you to move from writing scripts to novels, and how different is that for you?
I always wanted to write novels, and I wrote short stories when I was little, and ended up, of course, writing for a living in Los Angeles as a single mother, writing anything I could get my hands on just to pay the bills. But even during all that period, I would write really bad novels, really, just grabbing onto anything I could come up with, because I just loved the process of being able to say, the dragonfly flew up the trunk of the tree, and imagining following that, and there's an interiorness and a poetry that novels allow, and this book really started years ago. I mean, I know it sounds like I've done all this stuff recently, but this started a long, long time ago, and I've worked on it and for years, and then this summer I finally just said, I'm going to get this out, hell or high water, I'm going to do it. And every time I came back to it, it was like, oh, no, we've got to do it this way. I mean, that's what's so exciting about the creative process, because it makes you start from a new place in yourself, because you've grown in those years that I had a little Degas envelope that my youngest daughter had given me of the ballerinas, and I colored one of them black. And I stuffed it way in the back of my bookcase because I thought, that one's never going to make it. It's never going to come to light. Because frankly, I had been to this big writers' conference in New York, and it was called New York Pitch. So I had pitched this story, and every agent and every editor just looked me in the eyes and said, you'll never sell it, you're white. You cannot do this. The last guy said, well, just rewrite the whole thing from the white character's point of view and, sideline the black characters. And I actually, like an idiot, I did that. And I ruined it. I ruined the whole book. And that's when I put it away. But then this summer I went, no, go back to the original. That's where the energy is. So, yeah.
Other questions?
One down here. This lady in the blue scarf.
So the little girl in Austin who came through the fence, did she stay in your life? Is she?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
No, but there was when we moved to Dallas, away from Austin, there was a white girl. Albeit she was white, but she was crazy funny and wonderful, and all of the stuff that Dorothy and Winky get up to. And we did not have a beautiful house in the Ebony Tree. We had a little side of the garage that we painted blue, and that was our little place. But the spirit of that, and her I am still in touch with, and she lives in Austin, and it's 65-year friendship. Yeah. Yeah, and along the way, now I have an African-American woman friend who is 20, I've known her 25 years now, and she was my boss way back when I got out of graduate school, and now she's 87, and I go over to her house, and since she doesn't feel like up to going to the opera anymore, we listen to the opera. We laugh, and we tell stories, and it's great, it's great. But I have some African-American male friends that are pretty great, too. I'm looking at one right now. Thank you. You're welcome.
Other questions?
The very he.
The prose is beautiful or are beautiful? What's the proper way to say that?
I think it is, but don't ask me.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Your prose is beautiful. Okay. Yeah, just so exquisite and elegant, and as if they sprung from the head of Zeus. Perfectly formed. And I guess my question is my question is,
yes, Roger.
Did you feel when you handed it to your editor, or when did you feel, or did you ever feel, this is done? Because it feels so well.
No, and if you notice, I scribbled it all up. This is the advanced copy, and I saw it and went, oh boy, I can scribble this one up, because there's a lot that I didn't, I was trying to make it 30 minutes. So, and along the way I went, well, I don't need that. And I don't know. Thank goodness it's done, because it's a compulsion. It's always got to be better. There's always got to be one more image. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. Sorry, it's...
Thank you. That makes me feel better.
Other questions?
Oh.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
That was wonderful.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, it takes so many ordinary activities that happen in people's lives, and it just brings them out in such a beautiful, ordinary, but seemingly accurate way. It was just absolutely wonderful.
Oh, well, thank
So
you.
I really appreciate you reading that. It's what a creation.
Thank you.
I mean, there's so much more that could be said, but I think there's other people in this audience who really appreciate the quality of what you've just done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is my Qigong master, Mr. Svedesh. And my daughter is back there. My husband is back there. Dylan, my granddaughter, is back there. So we got a family thing. Yeah. And so many dear old friends and new friends and wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you all so much for coming. You're welcome.